Real estate videos are more popular right now than ever before. So much so that now a lot of real estate videos, they all start to look the same. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you 7 editing tips that you can use in your next real estate videos to help make them stand out from everybody else's and make you stand out in your market. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get into it. Yep, that's the good stuff. Now these tips I'm gonna share with you, I would consider to be a little bit more advanced. Not so much so in the difficulty aspect, but they are designed to help you elevate your skills so that you can rise up to a more advanced level as a videographer. Tip number 1 is pacing. Now the pacing of your video is going to be decided largely by the song that you choose. Now I'll get into song selection in a little bit, but here's how to improve the pacing of your videos. Essentially, if the song that you choose is a little bit more on the slower side, you should be matching that with longer and slower clips with fewer cuts. On the flip side, if the song that you choose is a little bit more on the faster side, a little bit more upbeat, you can match that with quicker clips, quicker cuts, maybe some speed ramps to match the energy of that song. Pacing is something that a regular person will subconsciously pick up on, and it could be a make or break factor in whether or not the viewer actually stays to watch the video. Here's a really quick example to show you the comparison of 2 different videos with 2 different songs.
Let's talk about your ex.
As you can see, both songs are very different, but the visuals, the actual video, the footage matches the energy. The high energy song, the EDM song, much quicker cuts, more speed ramps, higher paced video. The video with the slower song, a little bit more elegant, some longer clips, fewer cuts, slower clips as well. And the reason this is so important is because when it's done well and it's done in unison, the footage and the music, it really will just elevate your video. Now tip number 2 is to build an intro. Now the most important part of modern day real estate videos is to capture attention. And a way that I really like to do this is to kind of build out a bit of a sneak peek intro as a way to build anticipation and intrigue. I like to build my intros consisting of mainly mid perspectives, tight detail shots, and maybe some more creative or stylistic shots. Now these intros are not long at all. People's attention spans are very short and we don't want to keep them waiting. The intros that I create are usually about 10 to 15 seconds long. After that, we're getting right into the property. So here's an example of an intro that I built out in a video that I did of a $4.5 million home. Let's take a look. So I'll kind of play it through and give you a little bit of a commentary. So here we have, starting off with 2 tight shots to kind of build that. It's like, what are you looking at? Well, very specific item or feature of that home. And we have 2 unique creative stylistic shots pointing up, same movement, ramp them together, another way to capture attention. Mountains, living room, stairs. This is a really cool one at the very bottom of the staircase pointing up. All these shots, you're like, what am I looking at? Then we've got the cool car pulling into the driveway. We see the facade, and then we're gonna finish it off with a transition and get right into the property. And just like that, no time wasted, 15 seconds, now we're inside the property. That's how you build out an intro. Tip number 3 is to pick exciting and unique music. Music selection is so important for real estate videos. No more elevator music. You wanna pick a song that not only matches, but elevates the overall vibe of the home. Be intentional when picking your music and feel free to expand your horizons beyond what you would typically choose or typically listen to. Pick songs that have a build-up and then a strong climax. This is gonna help with making your video feel a little bit more dynamic, feel a little bit more flowy, and also can help the viewer create a little bit more of an emotional attachment to the video or to the home. Now, tip number 4 is sound design, and sound design can really help add some production value to your edit. The first thing that is often overlooked is actually editing the song that you choose. A lot of people find a song they like and then they just edit to how it is. You'll see in this video that I've cut the music up about 5 different times, and that's so that I can get the clips exactly where I want it to go, right? I don't want to be focusing on a main feature in the property during a slow part of the song. You know what I mean? I want the features to be highlighted in the features of the music. So we have the intro here, and then we cut straight into the beat, and the beat goes on here. And then once we get to kind of the secondary, or we're wrapping up kind of the main features, the song slows down. Right, it's a little bit of a break. We see we got a nice tub shot, details, the closet, the laundry room, some stairs, powder room, right? These are kind of secondary shots that fit well with a slower part of the song. And then when we get right into the basement here, now we're gonna go back from slow to fast. Boom, boom, boom. It's being able to craft the video from the ground up and finding out the parts that really fit and cutting out the parts that don't fit. The second part of sound design are the actual sound effects. And sound effects are a great way to kind of elevate the viewing experience. Kind of tickles the brain a little bit when you're actually hearing what you're seeing. Some of my favorite sound effects include whooshes, risers, hits, and ambience. The key to sound design is subtlety. Your sound effects should not overpower the music. They should feel natural to what you're actually viewing. Now, tip number 5 is intentional sequencing. If you're gonna take anything away from this video, let it be this. Sequencing is the most important piece for real estate videos. Essentially, sequencing is the order of how you place your clips. It's constructing the flow of the video and how the video progresses. The way that I like to sequence my videos is what I call feature sequencing. This is focused on the main spaces of the home, the true attention capturers, the things that people actually want to see. Starting off with the living room, then going into the kitchen, then the dining room, and then into the master bedroom, right? Skipping the powder room, skipping the secondary bedroom, skipping the entryway, right? The key takeaway from sequencing and in creating real estate videos as a whole, you never want to give people a reason not to learn more. Tip number 6 is color grading. When it comes to color grading, this is all subjective. However, I would suggest that you try adding a little bit of stylistic grading to your footage to make it pop a little bit, make it a little bit more unique to you. But right now, I'm actually gonna give you a really quick tip on how to get clean colors. We've all been in a situation where we get back to edit the footage and we realize that somewhere along the way we messed up our white balance. And those white walls are now yellow. I'm gonna give you a really easy way to fix that. So here we are in a different Final Cut Pro project, and I wanna show you an example of this. As you can see, this clip right here, it looks too yellow. Now these walls and those sinks, they're supposed to be white. Now this is actually the before, and I'm gonna show you the after, right? So before, after, looks so much better. And I'm gonna show you exactly how I got here. And the key feature lies right here in the color wheels. Now you'll see that on these walls typically fall into the values of our highlights. To get rid of majority of these yellows, I'm gonna just drag this saturation slider down. And you'll see so much of that yellow tint came out of those walls, right? Before, right, we bring that down, after. Now it's not perfect, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come down to the temperature slider, I'm gonna drag this down a little bit. Maybe about 4,800 Kelvin, 47-ish. Now those walls, those sinks looking a little bit better. The way that I see it, there's a little bit of purple. So I'm gonna come down to the tint, drag that down, 2 slides. Now look at that. this was the before, this was after. Looks so much better. So if you ever mess up your white balance, you can always revert back to desaturating those highlights to get those nice, clean, white walls. Now my final tip is super subtle, but it just adds a little bit more dynamics and movement to your videos. I like to add keyframes to subtly zoom either in or out to accentuate the movement on certain shots. I like to add these typically to mid perspectives or tight detail shots, and it's a nice little trick just to elevate some certain shots. Here's some examples. So there you go. Those are 7 editing tips that you can use to start elevating your real estate videos. If you have any questions about any of these tips, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer those for you. So with that all said, I will see you in the next one. Peace. Oh, it got cold.